Freedom Ring. Apparently, security is now keeping me out of the studio, so we apologize for that. But we're going to get rolling. My guest this week is Jenna Giannelli. Welcome to the show, Jenna.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, pumped to have you. I apologize about that. We've had issues with Nick. He runs the studio. Now security seems to be keeping me out. So it's never a dull moment here at Merrimack TV, I will say that.
Absolutely. I'm glad I didn't have that issue.
But let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So I'm from Wakefield, Massachusetts. That's where I was born. Spent a couple of years there before moving to Hudson, New Hampshire. And that's where I spent the majority of my childhood and young adolescence.
Awesome. I like Hudson. I actually coached wrestling in Hudson at the middle school at one point, yeah.
Oh, Hudson Memorial.
Yep.
Was there good memories.
Now, is there like a fair in Hudson every year?
Yeah, Derek gets mad because I pronounce this wrong. Old Home Days.
Okay.
Old Homes Days.
Yep. Homes Days,
home days. Something like that, yes.
But that's like a big deal in like the town, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like it's definitely a lot of younger kids, like middle school, high school. Like I can remember that being a big thing while I was in school, going there in the summertime, and it kind of prepped you right before you went back to school. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Awesome.
And that just a quick question in Hudson, is there multiple elementary schools so like the kids all come together in middle school?
Yeah, so the last I remember anyways, there was Hills Garrison, which is where I went to.
Okay.
And then there's like Nottingham West and one other, Library Street.
Okay.
And I think those are the three. Hopefully I'm not missing anything, but yeah.
All right, awesome. Now what's 3 things that everybody should know about you?
Oh man, okay. So, first of all, a lot of people know me for playing softball. I feel that's kind of like my reputation. But I actually played more than just softball growing up. I also played soccer, and I played basketball. And soccer, so I was, I liked it, but basketball is actually one sport that I kind of wish I held on to a little bit longer than I did. So that's one thing. The second thing is I love to write. I actually first went to college for journalism.
Okay.
Turned out the profession wasn't really for me, but I do love to write. So one day I'd love to be like a children's book author or something like that, which is kind of, different from what I'm doing now. And let's see, third thing about me, I'm actually looking for a house right now. Derek and I are house searching. So if anyone knows any private sales going on for affordable housing, let us know.
Do you guys have any preference on what town you want to be in?
So we've actually, just because things have gotten so crazy expensive in the area that we have lived in / have grown up in, we've kind of been looking to get away, either make a move down south. We've talked a lot about Virginia Beach. Believe it or not, you can live 10 minutes away from the beach and live for way cheaper than around here. We've also talked about Maine and Georgia. So really just, all about the timing and, when we're ready to make a move and what we're feeling at that time, I guess, where we can find something affordable.
Nope, totally understandable. Yeah, it's tough. I know New Hampshire's tough. I know a lot of people that it's hard. It's hard right now.
It is. It is. I know my sisters, they're kind of sporadic. We're very close, but one is out in California, just decided to make the move and now lives out there. I have another sister in Ohio. The other one did find a house in Mass, but she's a little broke now because of it. But yeah, we're all kind of dispersed. So I figured, may as well try the South.
So you have 3 siblings or?
3 siblings, yeah, okay. all girls. So there were 4 of us.
That's like my family in reverse. There's 4 boys.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So. How was it growing up with 4 boys?
Mary Ellen, my mother survived somehow.
And my dad did as well.
So. Now, sticking with the theme of the show, which is Let Freedom Ring, we ask everybody this question. I know it's a loaded question, but what does it mean to you to be an American?
Oh, definitely a loaded question, especially in recent weeks, I should say, as a female. I feel very conflicted. I love being an American. I think that it's the country of freedoms, but right now, I gotta be honest, it feels like some of the freedoms are slowly starting to be taken away. And it's a little bit scary to know which direction the country may go blah, blah, blah. It's actually funny because other places that Derek and I have talked about, we were like, well, what if we got like our dual citizenship? So that's something my sister did. Our great-grandparents are from Italy.
Okay.
So she got her dual citizenship out there when she was dating a person from England, just so she could live out there with him and try it out. And Derek's great-grandparents are from Ireland. So that was, kind of something that we had discussed. Might be cool to go to another country for a few years, but not to say we don't like it around here. Just, something different.
No, I agree. A lot of people have been upset. We talked about this on the show a little bit. Obviously, it's tough to the Supreme Court. You have these lifetime appointments making decisions for everybody. Now, I don't believe that should be, abortion should be left up to the state. I think that's a right that women should have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. And I know, everyone has their different beliefs, but, essentially it's the land of the free. And I think if that's our reputation, then that's kind of, the tendencies we should lean towards. I just think that there are, a lot of places within the country that, are based off of, older times, and we haven't really gotten ourselves up to date as much as we should. And I think if we were able to do that, we would continue to be, the great country that, we started out as.
It's almost like we live in, sometimes it really does feel like we're living in two different countries.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're from, you know what I mean? Your background, all of these different things. It's like I can speak for myself as a white woman, but I can't speak for other people and how they're living. And, we're living in the same country, but as you said, seemingly different worlds almost.
No, 100% agree. And that's why we asked this question, because the American experience is not the same for everybody.
Right.
It really is not. So no, I really appreciate that answer. Want to get into a lot of softball people are going to be watching this, and they want to know some things here. Yeah. You had a lot of fan questions, and we're going to get into that. But first, for your softball career, because I know this means a lot to you, and a lot of people are happy to have you around. How'd you get into it?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of a funny story. So when I was younger, obviously when you're in elementary school, all the flyers start to get passed out, for all these sports and stuff. I wanted to cheerlead. Okay? So I was like, I want to cheerlead. This is what I want to do. And my dad had kind of come back at me and he said, okay, you can cheerlead. He goes, but how about you pick one other sport to try? And originally I picked football, but same season, wasn't able to do both, so I had to go to option 2, which was t-ball. So I started t-ball. It was what it was, you know what I mean? I ended up, progressing to baseball, and then after baseball, I was starting to enter the middle school level, so it was like, okay, need to move on to softball. And I did, and I started really loving it, and mainly because I was on a team called the Hudson Heat.
Okay.
I don't know how familiar you are with them. When I joined, it was their first year of ever existing. It was like a travel team, and it was there that I got, real competition. It wasn't like recreational leagues anymore. It was you're playing and you're playing to win. A lot of tournaments, and the team that I was on was very successful, A, and B, just a lot of really great girls. So I think that really got me hooked. And then from there, it was game over. I was all softball all the time. That's all I wanted to do.
Was that like AAU then? I think that's what they called it back
yeah,
then.
exactly. I think they refer to it that technically for basketball, AAU or Little League. I don't know. Yeah. Softball, we always just referred to it as travel ball.
Now, I have to ask this question because I grew up with all brothers, and I don't know. Is there softball for kids before middle school?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, but what's really sad, I actually coached at Nashua High School North, and in towns like that and a lot of other surrounding towns, recreation is not as popular as it used to be. So towns are having to kind of combine in order to get enough, to have enough teams to kind of run a rec league, which is obviously really important. Rec league is where you develop your skills and you learn the game. So without that, a lot of kids are just jumping into middle school ball or high school ball. When I was coaching at the high school, I had girls trying out who had never played softball in their lives, but they made the team because there were only, maybe 15, 18 girls trying out every year. So It's hard to tell if it's the sport that's dying or sports in general that are dying in this area.
I honestly think it's sports in general.
I know.
I ran into the coach of the Nashville All-Stars that I know, Jim, at the Silver Knights the other night. And there's only one Nashville baseball league. When I was growing up, it was Nashville West, Nashville North, Nashville South, Nashville Northwest, Nashville East. There was 5 leagues. Now there's only one. What do you think's happening there? Are kids just getting, what is our society shifting to? Just they're not. Is it the, because I never want to just be like, it's the iPads, it's this and that, but is it?
I honestly think that it has a big role in things. So I actually went to school. My MBA had a concentration in sports administration. So I looked a lot into things like this and did a lot of research on it. And because, so when you play a sport, right, and you become good at it, you feel a lot of internal success and reward and accomplishment, all of these different things. Now kids are getting that from posting a picture on social media or, a post that goes viral, whatever it is. So because they already have that internal satisfaction, they're not necessarily looking outwards for it in other things. And I think that has kind of, killed sports in general a little bit.
Yeah, it's concerning because I will say this, at least in Nashua, and even Merrimack, the population has grown.
Yeah.
So how did these leagues shrink?
Yeah.
It's kind of, or the other question is, are people having less children? Because things are a lot more expensive than they were, obviously, when our parents were having kids.
Yeah. I will say, just speaking for Nashua, because that's really all that, I have experience with kids in. But, the school district kind of does this. But I know right before I was leaving, the class sizes were expanding quite a bit. So at least for the elementary and middle school, I think there was more kids coming in. But again, it's really hard to know what that cause, what the cause is. I mean, you look at it, if it is a competition thing, it could be my selfie versus your selfie.
Yeah.
That's competition. So is that competition kind of taking over from the sports world?
I wonder. It's sad to see because, youth sports were, and for you as well, just so much of our development as kids. And to not have that, that's a little concerning that there's not as many.
Teaches you so many life values, life skills that you use, from when you are young to when you continue to grow older. So yeah, it is kind of scary to think about and see.
Now I got to ask this. Now you won a state title in high school, is that right?
Yeah, 2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what's that like? I never won a state title.
Yeah.
What's that like winning that?
Oh my gosh. So going back to the Hudson Heat, so that was actually the same group of girls that I played with at Alvern that won the back-to-back state titles. So I think it was a really unique experience, and the fact that we kind of started out playing this competitive ball together, and then we grew up, met again out in high school, and won even more than we had when we were younger. Great experience. One of my favorite memories to this day was winning back-to-back state titles. Not only was it an exciting experience, but, it set a record for the school that, if I'm not mistaken, still stands to this day.
Alvern did not, no diss to Alvern.
Yeah.
Has not had a lot of championships.
And I think we were the first since, it was early 2000s, and we were the first ever. And again, I believe still the only back-to-back state championships. So it's cool to obviously softball kind of ended for me, kind of sort of, I guess, at the college level. Yeah. But your legacy kind of lives on to some extent. So that's a really cool thing.
Is there a banner in the gym for that?
Okay. Yeah. So we have 2 for the state titles. And we actually had a Gatorade Player of the Year 2 years in a row. So it's cool.
Yeah, and there's been some good wrestlers that have come out of Alvern, and Bobby Tewksbury. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He was a great baseball player. He actually got to. He threw in the home run derby one year.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So there's been people out of Hudson, but like I said, I actually think I remember hearing about this.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
It was. Well, especially through a little bit of controversy in there. But after our first state title, there was a large group of us going into the end of our season that second year before we won the title, where like some girls were suspended from the team. So we had a lot of like starting players sitting for like 4 games in a row to some extent. And, we had a lot of people at the high school, like adults, who were kind of upset with us, who were, discouraged by things that we had done. But then we still came back to win it. So it was really like a resilience story kind of thrown in there too, which was cool.
Was it a partying thing?
It was.
That always comes back. I remember when maybe I was in 8th grade, maybe I was a freshman. Nashua High always beat BG in the Turkey Bowl.
Yeah.
And then at one point, oh God, I can't remember the year, a bunch of Nashua football players were suspended for a party.
Yeah.
And BG beat the crap out of Nashua. It was like no one could believe this could actually happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It does happen.
It happens.
Kids are kids. They're gonna make mistakes. I made mistakes when I was that age. Everybody does.
100%. It's like a very much experimental stage of your life, and you're trying to, it's a social setting too. So if you, hear the word party and all these people are gonna be there, of course you're gonna want to go. You know what I mean? So it happens.
And kids have to learn.
Yeah.
What was it like playing in college?
It was cool. So I had a little bit of a unique college experience. So I started off at Emerson. I ended up getting recruited to go there, which was perfect for me at the time because, like I said, I was interested in journalism, and Emerson is big for like journalism, production, all of those things. Like I have friends that went there that like work for Nickelodeon now.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah, like really cool. And so my first year playing there was great. It's actually when I feel like I peaked as a hitter. I've always been a pretty consistent hitter, but I had like a big hitting year. Like I was on the new MAC leaderboard for home runs, for RBIs, and for slugging percentage.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so my bat, like for whatever reason, really came alive my freshman year, and it was a great experience. I did only play 1 year, and then sophomore year I played in the fall because after my first semester of sophomore year, I ended up transferring. And after that transfer, I went to Salem State.
That's where my sister-in-law went.
Really?
Yeah.
Great school. Never thought either that I would like Salem State. Ended up loving it.
Halloween there has to be like
Oh
unbelievable.
my God, it's so cool. It's such a cool experience. And especially you're in walking distance from everything, so it's great. But it really just ended up being the more affordable option for me. I tried out for the team, I made it, but I had to be redshirted because of a credit discrepancy.
Okay.
So that kind of put a pause on my playing years in college. But while I played, it was great.
Let me ask you this, because I played club rugby in college. I didn't play, on I wouldn't say they're not recognized, but we had to do a lot to do it. But how did you feel with like college softball, but schoolwork on top of it?
Yeah, so that was a unique experience, especially at Emerson, because I don't know, how many people out there know Emerson, but Emerson is a very artsy school,
It's hard to get in there, right?
It is. Yeah. It is tough to get in there. But it's a very artsy school, and the people that go there, I mean, I can remember being at freshman orientation and the dean being like, yeah, in the audience here, we have someone who has like written a book, a published book, and like all of these amazing accomplishments. But it's artsy. It's not really sports focused by any means. So, if we had a game and I had a class, my coach had to fight and fight and fight to get me to not be in class so I could go to the game. Whereas I feel like at a school like Salem State, for example, or another school that takes academics seriously but also takes their sports seriously, it's a little bit easier. So it was an interesting kind of tug of war at Emerson for sure.
I can imagine. It's hard. It's tough. It's tough to balance the two.
Yeah.
Now you coached at Newberry?
I did.
Now how was that? So now you've coached at a college level and a high school level.
Yeah, so I coached at the college level while I was in college.
Okay.
So going back to me being redshirted at Salem State, I was still in talks with my former travel coach. And he was like, well, if you can't play and you want to coach, like I know Newberry's head coach is hiring an assistant. So I kind of, I got on the phone with her, talked to her. She hired me on the spot. So I spent my year coaching. The next year she left, and I had got asked to be the interim head coach for my second year.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, if I want to do this after college, this is a great experience to have now and make some money while I do it. So I took that, and I didn't end up playing at Salem State. I focused on coaching at Newberry until I graduated.
Can that turn to like a full-time job? Like to get paid like that's all you do?
Yeah, so that's what the head coach before me was doing. And I remember after my interim head coach gig was over and I had graduated from Salem State, the athletic director was like, you should really apply for this job. So I did. Made it to the final rounds of interviews. Turns out I was going up against someone who played at UCLA for the head coaching spot.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up getting it. I ended up, getting the reject, which is why I, kind of went on to teach and stuff. But yeah, for a hot second, it was almost my full-time profession.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you find, was there a huge difference between college and coaching college and high school?
Oh my gosh, the biggest difference. Because in college, there's recruiting and everything else. So you're getting players like that you choose or you had a hand in choosing versus the high school that I coached at, you get what you get sort of thing. And I recruited. I remember going to fall sports and winter sports and trying to pinpoint the athletes to get them to come on board for the spring season. But at the end of the day, again, softball isn't the most popular sport in Nashua. And some years we would only get, 13 girls trying out. So no JV team, just a varsity team, and everyone that tried out made it. So it was very different.
See, that's pre-split though. At Nashua High, the Nashua High I went to, when it was just one school, there was too many for everything.
Yeah.
So definitely the split has an impact on that.
Absolutely.
Now, a lot of people are going to ask this because obviously you've had a great softball career at a high level, but now you play slow pitch softball.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
So I started out playing in a Thursday night Londonderry co-ed league. My friend Evelyn, do you know Evelyn Susko?
I like the name. That was my grandmother's name, but I'm not sure if I'd probably know the face. But.
Yeah, so we went to high school together. We played softball together. She was on the Alvern team as well, and she asked me to come play in these Thursday night leagues. And I'm like, yeah, I miss it. Let's do it. I did that for a couple of years, and then, I had joined Sunday Co-ed League, and Rachel Garant was like, you're good. Do you want to come play with my co-ed team this weekend for tournament ball? And I was like, there's tournament slow pitch? What? So I ended up going to play for a co-ed team, Ghosted, and I had a great tournament. And after that great tournament, Molly Hamill had asked me to play for Newcoat, and then that was it. Then all of a sudden I was a full-time weekend softball player.
It's crazy how that all happens.
So crazy. Yeah.
But I think we need it.
Yeah.
We need it. It's our social time. It's our getting to still play. There's a lot to softball that makes it worth it.
Absolutely. And I think that each team you're on brings sort of a different value. So, co-ed's great. I get to play with Derek. Women's is great because we're super competitive. We're really good. And the girls on there are just amazing. It reminds me a lot of the bond I had with the teams I was on when I was younger, which is a nice little thing. And then you have leagues that are great because that social piece comes in even more. And the whole community is there just kind of hanging out and, chatting and having drinks and supporting each other. And that's a whole different element that you get. So all of it's great.
I agree. It's something I know I need it. I love softball. Playing for Newcoat Women's, I believe you guys were third in the nation last year.
Yeah.
How was that trip to Florida?
Oh gosh. A whirlwind. So it's funny. People ask me you guys did so well. How was it? Tell me about it. And I'm like, I feel when I was playing, all of the games went by so quick because we were so dialed in, so focused that most of it, I barely remember. I know we were hot. We were doing really well. We kept winning, and then all of a sudden we were in the semifinal game, and it was what? How did I get here? Amazing experience, and a really cool to have my first year of softball include an experience like that, because a lot of people play and don't get that. So I felt very, very fortunate to be a part of that group.
Now, who ended up winning the whole thing? Where were they out of?
Oh gosh. So we, in the semifinals, played a team out of, it was the Midwest somewhere. I know it was Midwest. I think the team that ended up winning was from Ohio,
Okay.
I want to say. It's funny because the team that won is the team that knocked us into the losers bracket that Saturday. And we ended up, we didn't get to see them again in the championship because we got beat in the semifinals, but they did end up winning it. So we were I think we lost in like a 7-6 game against them. So to see them go ahead and win it was kind of, obviously it wasn't ideal. I would have liked to won it, but it was kind of next best case scenario because we got to compete against the champions of the tournament and compete well.
That's super cool, and that's really showing people hey, we can play here in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Best part of that experience?
Best part of that experience, taking third was a great part, obviously. But I can remember there was one game that we were battling this pickup team from down south. I think it was Kansas. And I can remember watching them the night before. They were lights out. They hit the ball hard. They were lights out in the field. And I'm not going to lie, there were some of us that were a little nervous to play them. And we got to the fourth inning against them, and we were still 0-0, and we knew we would have a very long Saturday since that was our first morning game if we were to lose. And I was slumping before that, slumping bad. But that game, I kind of broke it open with the first run of the game, an RBI in the first run. And I feel like that allowed us to get a little bit of momentum, and we ended up winning that game 4-3. Very low scoring. So that was my personal favorite moment of it because I felt like I really contributed to the team in a big way.
Nice. Now, did you guys have a house or whatever?
Yeah, a huge house. Yeah. It was beautiful. We actually spent a whole day there because when we went, I think it was Friday, we had a full day without games where we were just kind of putzing around. Just played card games, went in the pool. It was great.
I feel like every house in Florida has a pool.
Yes.
It's you have to have a pool in Florida.
Yes, and they're all enclosed with that netting so the alligators don't get in.
That's probably it. That makes a lot of sense.
I think it is.
And now I get asked this question because I'm very curious on this. What did you teach?
So I taught middle school health and family and consumer science.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you know what family and consumer science
is? Yeah, I took it.
Home ec.
Yeah.
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 It was great. I loved teaching. If it wasn't for, kind of the teaching world right now, the pay, kind of the lack of respect, I would still be there. I loved it.
Yeah, so how'd you make the decision that you were because you went and got your MBA, were you just this is just not working for me, or?
No, it was kind of the opposite. So after I graduated from Salem State, I had a degree in English and education. I had a job at some recruiting agency, nurse recruiting. I wasn't loving it. I really wanted to use my degree. So I took a para job at Alvern. Went back to my old high school, which was great. But then I was like, holy cow, I cannot afford to do this.
No, para pay is not.
I was like, I can't
I've
live.
been a para. Yeah, it's not enough.
I was like, I can't live on this. So I picked up coaching at Nashua High School North. Still wasn't making enough. And then while I was running a camp, one of the teachers that was the coach of the middle school and helping out came to me and she was like, talk to me, what do you do? And I told her I was looking for a teaching job, and she kind of put in a word for me at the middle school, and I got that job the following year. But hold on, I didn't answer your question. Back step a couple, when I was going crazy trying to find a new job from being a para, I was applying, not getting any responses except rejection. And I ended up going for my MBA before I even got the teaching job.
Okay.
So when I did get the teaching job, I was teaching and getting my MBA kind of simultaneously.
Where'd you get it from?
SNU.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm an MBA advisor.
Yeah.
So. No, it sounds like your path is very similar to mine because I was a parent. I went to school to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Did a lot of different stuff in that, and then finally just said, you know what, I'd go in another direction.
Yeah.
You know.
And it happens.
Yeah.
I always say, like, one day I might be back, but it'll be when I'm a little bit more financially stable, and hopefully they've done some, revamp to make education a little bit, better.
It's a rewarding job. It's a thankless job.
Oh, 100%. 100%, yeah.
I do want to get to the fan questions because you have a bunch.
Okay.
Max Vignola just said to me she's also plays for Jackie Chan,
I do.
which is true.
Yes.
He also called me a dork. It wasn't in the bio that you sent over, and I said, Max, I don't know what to tell you. So it is what it is.
And sometimes I feel like, my titles are like endless. Like we are all so many things. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm on this team. I'm on that team. I'm this. I'm that. Like, it's like how many teams do you put on there before you're like, okay.
Well, I tried to appease them and I added into the post. So.
But yes, I am on Jackie Chan.
Pat Taylor wants to know, how does it feel to be a better player than your fiance, Derek Dolan?
Poor Derek. I feel like
he's a very good ball player.
He's so good, and I feel like he's very underrated. And I feel like most people pose that question just to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
Because he's such an instigator that I feel like other people, when they get the chance, like to give it back to him a little bit. But I love being talked up and everything. That's great. But at the end of the day, like, I know Derek and how he plays and how he is. And he is one of the most consistent, like, if you want someone in the field who's never really going to make an error and who's going to get a base hit 99% of the time, like, he's your guy. And he's got the biggest heart in the world for the game. Like, he loves the game. So.
And he can do a lot of multiple things.
Yeah.
I've seen him play short, and I was surprised how well he did there. So.
Outfield, infield. He's a big catcher now. He likes catching. Yeah. Now that he's getting older.
Hey, I like that position too.
Yeah.
People, Max tells me, he goes, you only play first or catcher, which is not true. It's just where I prefer to play.
Right.
If you need me to do other stuff, I'll do it. I don't want to like I used to.
Right. You get to stay still, focus on hitting really. Like, catch the ball and then hit. Like, easy. Love it.
From Jan, this is tough. Martheo. She says you're a rock star.
Yeah.
How do you know Jan?
She's my biggest fan. So Jan is, okay, so my two older sisters, they're technically my half sisters. So we have the same dad, different moms. Jan is their mom's mom.
Okay.
So they call her Nanny. That's like the going theme. But me and my sisters were always really close growing up. So, in addition to them spending time, at their dad's house, my dad's house, I also spent time with like their mom's family. So Jan and I and my sisters are all like pretty close.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So like the nanny that's not blood related, but like.
But that's super cool. That's how family should be.
Yeah. She's great.
Derek Chappis wants to know, when are you going to tell them that you're on my team for the Tatas?
So I told Chap that I committed to Max for Tatas, so I'm going to have to follow through with my 22.
People are already making those decisions?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. This got made last year at the Tatas tournament 2021. So I promised Max, Derek and I would be on Tatas for this year, but no one's asked me for 2023 yet, so he could get in on that.
Really booking in advance for these charity tournaments.
A little bit.
Which is a great cause that Brandon puts on.
Yeah, it's a great tournament. I had a blast last year. A blast.
Sarah Clearly Rabal?
Raybal. Yeah.
How are you so freaking amazing? She wants to know.
She's so sweet. I don't know how to answer that question, honestly. It's making me blush, but thanks, Sarah. You're it all.
Courtney Ledoux, a friend of mine. I don't know if you know Courtney. She went to Newberry.
Okay.
So she just said, yay, Newberry, when she saw that.
Absolutely. Newberry's a great school. I'm sad it shut down. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it closed maybe 3-4 years ago. Just financially, I wasn't able to keep up, and it closed. But it is a shame because it's like one of those small schools in Boston still that, I feel like the players there, the people there, form really close bonds because it's a small campus in such a big city.
And she played volleyball there, Courtney did.
Oh, they have a good volleyball team. When I was coaching, I had some softball players who played volleyball too.
Awesome. And the other thing in Nashua too is Daniel Webster College shut down.
Yeah.
That's where Derek went.
It was, yeah.
And it's just sitting.
I know.
It's so unfortunate. I'm like, do something with that.
Right.
you know.
I know. Did anyone buy out the land or anything?
I don't think so.
They don't have any plans.
I know we had a lot of their students come over to SNU at one point.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know either. I think they still play baseball on the basable field.
Oh, I mean, it shouldn't just. I did pass it before, and the grass was like ridiculous, and I'm like, oh, this is unfortunate. You know.
Yeah.
Joanne Stanlowski.
Stanislazic.
My
aunt.
Oh, that's your aunt.
It
Okay.
is.
Awesome, Jenna. You are amazing. So your aunt, big fan of you as well.
Yes, love my aunt. She's very sweet. She's a big supporter of me as well. I got a lot of good support in my life.
You got a lot of fans.
I got a lot of fans. It's great.
Jesse DeLay. It's not Delea, which is sun cleared up
Really?
on this show. For years, I've been friends with Jesse for many, many years. I always said Delea.
Okay.
That's not how you say his last name. It's DeLay. Bones, his son, corrected me. But he wants to know, one of my favorite walk-up songs just popped up on my playlist. And it got me thinking, what is your go-to walk-up track? So when you're coming up to bat, for anybody out there, a walk-up track is a song that comes on when you're going to hit.
Right. So it's something that's got to get you like pumped up and like feeling good. Big Sean music typically does that for me.
Okay.
Big fan of Big Sean. I think his lyrics are incredible. They definitely pump me up. So yeah, I'm gonna go with like almost any Big Sean song.
Is he the song that's like, you're way too beautiful? Or is it
Oh,
somebody
that's
else?
Sean Kingston.
That's Sean
but
Kingston,
it's funny
okay.
that you say that because my friend Evelyn had thought the same thing for the longest time. And one time she had told me that, oh, Big Sean's playing and whatever. And it ended up being Sean Kingston. And I'm like, no, wrong Sean. But
a lot of Sean's out there.
A lot of Sean's
Who's
out
Big
there.
Sean then?
Big Sean is like, do you know like Bounce Back or Moves? Like, I got the moves. I
might.
moves.
I am.
You
I think
know some Big
I
Sean.
think I'm probably out of touch these days. I will have to look up Big Sean because I
Look
can't.
him up and then play a Big Sean song.
Okay.
Yeah, play a Big Sean. Yeah. Let me know what your favorite is.
Justin, you know who that is? Yeah. Okay. So all right.
He's out there.
All right, check out Big Sean, everybody. All right, I want to get into some top fives. We got some interesting ones coming up.
All right.
I want to ask you the first two because we asked pretty much everybody this.
Okay.
Top 5 favorite movies?
Yeah, this is so hard. I'm a big movie buff. You know, for as active as I am with like sports, like if I'm not playing sports or like, you know, I'm probably watching movies. My all-time favorite is It's a Wonderful Life. That's
Also mine. And
my
Goodfellas are like
all-time.
kind of tied, but yeah.
Love It's a Wonderful Life. Could watch it over and over again. My tradition, every Christmas Eve, I watch it alone, by myself, on the couch. I like to do it by myself. I don't know why, but
I put my family through it kind of.
Yeah.
I have to have it on in the background.
yeah,
And
love
in the ending,
that
it's
movie.
like, oh God, it really was a wonderful thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I named one of my first cats Clarence.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
nice.
yes, love that movie. So that's definitely up there. Big fan of like comedies and like court case drama / thrillers. So for comedies, I like Wanderlust. Paul Rudd.
Yep.
Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah, I would make a joke that he said in there, but we're not gonna. We're on public television here, so I won't do it.
Well, if anyone goes and watches the movie, I think they'll pick up the joke
Yeah.
pretty quickly because that's a big scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Hysterical. Paul Rudd's a favorite of mine for sure. The Night Before is another good one. Have you seen that one?
Who's in? What is that one?
So that's Seth Rogen.
This is when the world's
Who
ending.
else is in it? No,
Okay.
but oh no, not the same guy. Seth Rogen's in it. Essentially, it's like these three friends, right? And one of the friends, his parents died when they were in high school. So like their like tradition every Christmas Eve is to go out and find this nutcracker ball, right? And when they're older, a lot of them are finally settling down. Like one's a big time football player, whatever. They get tickets, an invitation to this nutcracker ball. But obviously, like as they're going there, like all these sorts of funny things happen and, you know, bring things up. Yeah, Miley Cyrus makes a guest appearance in it.
Oh, I'll have to check this out.
Oh, it's so funny. Good one. Really good one.
Awesome. Any others?
Oh, God. I'm just going to go with anything Paul Rudd, really. Yeah.
I mean, I Love You Man is hilarious.
Oh, hysterical.
Yeah.
Love that one. That's a good one.
They just had a thing where Paul Rudd, this kid was being bullied, and his mom posted on Facebook, and Paul Rudd got a hold of their information, mailed them stuff. He's been texting with the kid. Like,
I saw that,
Yeah.
like that you are my superhero type
Yeah.
of thing, or whatever it was. I did see that. I heard he also during the elections just went down like in New York and started handing out cookies to people in line, like waiting.
yeah, he's pretty legit.
He's awesome.
His first movie, you know, people remember Clueless, but
Yeah.
he was in Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, one of the worst movies. I love Halloween, but that movie was so bad. And I hope Nick's not watching. I bet Nick's a fan of that movie, by the way. Do you have favorite TV shows?
Yeah, so I'm a sucker for like reality dating shows, big sucker for it. So like Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, Love Island, all those ones are definitely up there. But like I love like New Girl. New Girl's a great one.
It's a good show.
Big Brother I love. I actually put in my high school yearbook that my goal was to be on Big Brother one day. Yeah.
Keep applying.
I know I should. I really should. I remember when I was 21, I applied up throughout. I was like 24, and then I kind of fell off. But you're right. I should get back on that.
What's the worst that could happen? I would have loved to be on The Real World.
Yeah.
I do know someone that was like a finalist to almost go on it, but
No
they
way.
didn't quite make it.
That's pretty cool, though, even to get to that point.
Could you imagine like just living in this house and being like, we're filming everything, and then, like some of the stuff that people have done, I'm like, man, I don't have the courage to act like that on TV, but maybe they think something's going to come out of it, because a lot of them did become. Look at The Miz.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
you never know what like happens behind the scenes, like what producers are saying, or triggering. Like you don't know. So
I feel like reality TV did take a flop into like the part scripted.
Yeah.
A lot of it scripted.
100%, I would agree with that.
But I will say, when I was a kid in first grade watching the original Real World, that was as real as it got.
Absolutely.
Top 5 women's players in the area. Do you have any?
Oh, in the area.
It could be. It
in
could,
the area.
Or it could,
No,
doesn't
that's
have
a
to be
good
the area. Whoever you have.
I like that. I'm doing the area first.
Okay.
I'll start with that, and then if I run out. But in the area, Malia Cole is like one of my all-time favorite. Have you had the opportunity to meet Malia?
I have no. It's the first time I've heard that name.
Oh my God, she is amazing. So she's on Newcoat. Great hitter, great ball player, but like more than anything, just like a good hype man. Like
Okay.
she's a good teammate to have. Like she's always there. Like if you're struggling or whatever, maybe I don't know, whatever it is. Like she's there to kind of pick you up. She just has like this like way about her, very funny. She's the best. I love Malia. I can't say enough good things about Malia. So Malia is one of my faves. I wish I could just name all of the. Can I just name all of the Newcoat girls? Like it's hard not to
narrow it.
I know, but it's hard not to gravitate towards them. Obviously the Hamels are great. Molly and Mo Hamill.
Those names sound familiar. Yes.
Yeah, they're amazing. A lot of experience in the softball world, also like there to pick you up if you get down. Michaela's been one of my best friends since I was like this big, a little biased. Like, yeah, but Michaela's up there. I don't know. I love them all. There's so many. Christina, Kayla, Key, Bragg. I can't say enough good things about Newcoat and all the girls on Newcoat.
Seems like you guys really, are bonding.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's like one of the main reasons why we are as successful as we are. Like we have a great group of players, don't get me wrong. Like we're very, very talented, but so are a lot of other teams, Grip It and Rip It is super talented.
Well, I guess that leads to my next question. Who are the top 5 women's teams around?
Top 5 women's teams? Well, Grip It definitely is up there. Sharks have made like a huge play. Obviously Newcoat, I'm going to put.
Now where's Grip It and Rip It out of?
Ooh.
Do you know?
Mass, I think. I'm pretty sure they're a Massachusetts team.
Okay.
I believe.
Are Sharks out of the
They're
Cape,
new
or
this
am I
year.
assuming?
Grip It and Rip It's new this year. So they have some girls from Bobby Pins and then some other places, but they are good. They have some really talented players on that team. So definitely them. Sharks, I feel like gets better every time we play them.
Are they out of the Cape? I'm just assuming that because
Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear Sharks, and I feel like now that's always associated with Cape
Right?
Cod now. But
Yeah.
okay, Rhode Island.
So they're out of Rhode Island, I believe. I think they're great group. Other top teams, obviously Newcoat's in there, so that's 3. I need 2 more. Bobby Pins are very good, so. I don't know. I missed the last tournament with New Code, unfortunately, because I had an obligation. I don't know if they played them in that one or not, but I know that's the only tournament we've been in with bobby pins. But that's been like one of the teams that I've been really wanting to play around here.
Are they from?
Again, I'm not sure.
That's okay.
But they'd have 2 girls on their team that I actually used to play with on my Polar Crush travel team when I
Okay.
was in high school. One got recruited to play at UMass Amherst, and she was on the Puerto Rican women's team.
Oh,
like,
wow.
she's amazing. And then the other one got recruited to go play down in North Carolina. So yeah, really talented. So them, and Cutie Pies is very good. A lot of new girls on their team, but definitely like getting to the point where they're going to be a top team for sure.
Are they? Do we know where they're from?
Rhode Island.
Rhode
That
Island.
one I'm pretty confident in.
Because I'm trying to like we're not seeing a lot of Vermont in the area.
I don't know if I would know any, to be honest.
Yeah, it does feel like it's Rhode Island, Mass, New Hampshire mostly.
Yeah.
Then you do get some teams from Maine in some of these tournaments. Connecticut, I believe, is a big softball area.
Yeah.
But I feel like Vermont, I guess there's a good men's Vermont team.
Really?
Is it Jobin's Painting?
Oh,
Is that? I think
Yeah.
they say they're from Vermont. I know they have some
Yeah.
New Hampshire guys, but I think it's where they're located out of.
yeah. I've heard good things about them. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fun. We got some fun stuff going on here in
Yeah.
New England for softball.
Oh, we do.
Now, I want to get into my favorite segment, which is blank versus blank. I'm going to give you 2 things. You got to pick one. You got to tell me why.
Pick one, tell you why. Okay.
All right, first one. 2 of my all-time favorite singers, myself.
Okay.
I got Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston.
Oh, Whitney Houston. I'm sorry. I gotta go
Hey,
against
I
the
like 'em both.
grain
Yeah.
here. Obviously both incredible vocals, but Whitney Houston, I feel like she's just got a little bit wider of a pitch range, and I like her music better, to be quite truthful. I think she, had a few more hits than Mariah. Not many.
When Whitney Houston died, I was on Twitter. It was 2012. And it was very similar to when Robin Williams died.
Yeah.
I yelled, "No!"
Yeah.
Never met these people.
Right.
But they definitely have, an impact. And Whitney was one of those where I was like, "Nah, come on."
And celebrities do have an impact on your life. Like I know I'll be like watching a movie with Derek, and I'll be like it'll be like an Adam Sandler movie, and I'm like, one day we're gonna be here, and he's not, and like that's so sad. Like, think of all of his movies that we watch, and he still creates that we love. Like, I don't know, they do have an impact on you.
I'm not gonna lie, Happy Gilmore came on TV the other day, and I started
best.
watching it. I started getting hooked, and I go, "Oh, please be on demand, like so I don't have to watch commercials." And couldn't. I had to pay for it, so I had to watch all the commercials. But
Or you could have just paid for it and had it for a while.
I own the DVD. I own it, but
okay.
so I could have done that. But more responsible for the success of the New England Patriots over a 20-year span, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? And people are going to be watching this. So,
I know, and I'm going to get so much crap for it. As much as I always wanted to say Bill Belichick, and I truly did always want to say Bill Belichick, I have to go with Tom Brady. Like, coaches have a lot of influence over their players, right? That's no doubt. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the players, the ones on the field, are going to be the ones, driving the game. They ultimately get this, they could flop. Tom Brady never flops, and I think that's why I'm going to pick Tom Brady.
Okay, that's fair. I'm getting a lot of guests saying this.
Yeah, and I think the true test was when he went to the Bucks, right? Like that was maybe not for
Still
Bill.
feel like he got everything he wanted with the Bucks.
Yes,
I do.
Yes.
But I'm a homer.
Yeah.
And Brady left, so I'm always going to say Belichick, even if I didn't believe. I'm not going to state whether I believe it or not. I'm just always going to defend who stayed.
Trust me, I want to say Belichick. I really do. And when he initially left Tom Brady, I did say Belichick. And then,
Now you're starting to wonder because
I'm starting to wonder a little bit.
Understandable.
I still have faith in him, 100%. I think he's going to put together a good team, always. But ultimately, with the successes that the Patriots had, I have to go with Brady.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. Would you rather watch WWE or NASCAR?
What if I never watched either?
You had to pick one.
Okay. That's not true. I think I've watched. My sister Brianna actually used to be super into WWE when she was in middle school. I was a little girl. So I'll go with that because,
Okay.
I mean, A, like I'm sitting next to maybe one of the biggest WWE fans of all time, and
It's
B, my
true.
sister liked it. So I'm going to go with that.
All right, I'll take that.
However, I do get a little bit emotional watching people like beat on each other.
Yeah, well, wrestling's supposed to be emotional.
Yeah.
You know. Would you rather play co-ed softball or women's?
That's tough. Women's like on my co-ed team or on my women's team. Also tough because a lot of the people on my co-ed team are on my women's team. But anyways, I'm gonna pick women's just because, you know, co-ed's kind of been up and down, and I love playing with like Derek and a lot of the Ghosted crew. But you can't beat like the vibes on New Code and, you know, everything else. So I'm gonna pick women's New Code.
Would you rather play ASA or U-Trip?
Oh, U-Trip. I hate ASA. I hate it. Yeah, it took me a second. I played in an ASA league in Lowell last year, and it took some time to adjust. I hate the bats. I hate how high they can pitch the ball. Not my favorite. I would avoid ASA.
I think most people say U-Trip, especially in this area.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. It's what we see more often too, I feel like.
it is more popular, and we got to give Ryan a lot of credit.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a lot of him being the director and pushing it. I couldn't tell you who I guess ASA is called the USA now.
Oh.
Couldn't tell you who the governing body of that is, if there even is one in New Hampshire. So, U-Trip definitely has a stranglehold on the state.
I would say so.
Tupac or Biggie?
Again, I'm not...
Never heard their songs?
No. I definitely have. I know who both are, and
Yeah.
I've heard both music, but I'm not like huge like fans of either. I'm gonna go Tupac because I like the conspiracy theories with Tupac. So I'm gonna go Tupac because to me it's just more interesting.
You think he's living on an island somewhere, or?
I love conspiracy theories. I think they're so much fun. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that he's still alive and he's gonna make a comeback one day.
I mean, he left a lot of music on the table.
He did.
Like, it's
did.
kind of weird. Like, I remember Dave Chappelle did a sketch
Yeah.
where, like, he was being Tupac, and Tupac was rapping, and then actually seeing what people were doing. He goes, "Dave Chappelle, who you dancing with? That's not your wife." And he's like, "What the?" You know what I mean? Like,
I love it. See, that stuff I love. Yeah.
And there was another one where, obviously, Tupac died before George Bush was president. He goes, "This brings me back to," he said something like, "George W." And everybody's like, he goes, "Smith, he ran for city council back in '94. Like, it was like so funny. Chappelle usually has the comedy down. Overall, if you had to pick one, would you rather be a coach or a player?
Oh God, this is another hard one. Because like, obviously, like I like the competition and being able to like play and use my skills, but I also I would never be able to do that for the rest of my life. And I could make money if I was just coaching. Are we getting into like the particulars of this?
I mean, it's your
Am
pick.
I like a D1 college coach or playing slow pitch softball, or am I like a high school coach playing slow pitch softball?
Okay, so you could compare like the two. Let's say it's your dream job as a coach. Would you rather do that?
I'm coaching. Yeah.
Then go play with a bunch of, over the hill people, or
It's not even that. Like, I would miss like the company, the social part of it so much, but like I would love to be able to be involved with it super long term. Not to say that I can't play super long term, but people get older, they have kids, families, whatever, like injuries, so longevity of it, coaching. Yeah.
Yeah, coaching. Obviously, if that's got to be a dream. If that could just be your 9 to 5.
100%. I mean, yeah. Talk about like doing something you love. Like that is doing something that I love. So coaching.
All right, tough as one, blank versus blank.
Okay.
I'm going to put two people against each other.
Oh, God.
They're engaged to be married. Max Vignola, and one goes away. Max Vignola or Michaela Pulowski. Did I say her name right?
You did.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I gotta go with Michaela. Max is such a ball buster. Him and Derek are like one and the same. I already have Derek. Like, I don't need a second instigator in my life. Love Max to death. Great guy. But Michaela's been like there with me since I was 8. So how could I not choose Michaela?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now he is your coach though, but I guess she's like the assistant coach on Jackie Chan.
And honestly, sorry Max, but Michaela's making most of the coaching decisions in that lineup. So, Max put together great uniforms and
They are great shirts.
Great. And he's very good at, keeping things organized. But at the end of the day, when we're on the field, Michaela's doing the book and writing our lineup and everything else. So
awesome.
Credit to her, for sure.
All right, well, Jenna, I really appreciate you coming on the show. This has been a blast.
Yeah,
we'll have
absolutely.
to do it again sometime.
For sure.
But everybody out there, keep your heads up. Have a wonderful week. Again, Nick, I don't know. Security kind of turned on me today. I'm not really sure what happened there, but I was able to get in the studio. But everybody, again, have a great week. And until next time, let freedom ring.